that was the era when there was Pete Gagan and Alan Moffat and Bob Jane, all in these types of cars. It was always a big category also, not only here in Australia but certainly in New Zealand as well. And there was many times that either or crossed the Tasman to have a full-on fight with New Zealand versus Australia.
It hasn't really changed, has it?
No, it certainly hasn't.
Getting set. We're counting down to the big one, the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000. We're turning back the clock. The V8 Touring Car Masters at Mount Panorama. The Pentax cab will capture the run to turn one. Steve Mason starting from pole in the 69 Chev Camaro. Jimmy Richards in the 68 Chev Camaro from the outside of the front row. And they're away towards Hell Corner on lap one. They all make it in there okay. No, they don't. Alistair McLean going around in the 68 Camaro. Mason leads at the top of Mountain Straight. Jim Richards slotting into second spot. This is where these cars with the big engines are really in their element on the climb up the mountain. Absolutely, and even though they're only a 4-speed gearbox in these cars, they still have an awful lot of torque, so that the power that they have is really useful here at Bathurst. And the tyres on these cars are all control type tyres, so they're in a situation where they do slide around a lot like they used to going back many years. I don't mind sliding these things around across the top of the mountain on lap one, waking up a few people on top of Mount Panorama, I'm sure. They sound absolutely fantastic, and they get sideways and they don't have really big brakes on them for the weight of these cars. They are quite small by comparison to the V8 Supercar. Dropping off the top of the mountain, these, I guess, are the forerunner of what we've got now with the V8 Supercar Championship Series. What sort of memories do these evoke for you? Well, these types of cars are what Australia really was built around, or the touring cars in Australia was really built around. This is where it all started with them. Steve Mason leading the way. Has been one of the really strong runners in this championship. He's been a 4-time runner-up, but he leads the championship, trying to break through for that first victory. It's going to be a very interesting series, to be quite honest, because Jimmy is very well attuned to these sort of cars, and not only these cars, but anything Jimmy gets into, he knows how to drive them and get the utmost out of it. He's about the only guy that I know that's older than John Bowe. Steve Mason's flying, 2 minutes 31. Fantastic fight between the two Camaros. Across the top of Mount Panorama, Steve Mason working the tyre through McPhillippi. This brings back memories to the days when Alan Moffat and Pete Gagan were running nose to tail around this very circuit. Things have changed just a little bit since then. They certainly have. I guess the question is here, you can drive them hard, but the tyres are only going to take so much, and then we start to turn it into a drifting championship. When they get a bit of heat into these tyres, because the cars are reasonably heavy, it's very, very quick in a straight line. Steve Mason, Dick Johnson, has skipped away here. Fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes 28.96. Here's a replay at the top of Mountain Straight, and Steve Mason's just showing off now, isn't he? Exactly. Steve Mason, the Hercules Engines Camaro, has been on fire this year in the series. Has won 6 races, set 3 pole positions, and look at all the dirt and dust that's been left behind. And in this series, it's easy. Keep the foot down and drive it sideways through it. You're not going to touch Steve Mason. Turning on a show at Mount Panorama. He takes race 3 in the V8 Touring Car.
The V8 Touring Car Masters, one of the most exciting forms of motorsport in Australia today, enjoys broad nationwide exposure as a result of being a V8 Supercar support category. On average, more than 123,000 people attended each of the 14 events in the 2009 season, for a total crowd attendance of 1,731,042 people. National exposure on Channel 7 resulted in 19 million people watching V8 Supercars on television in 2008. As a leading support category, the Touring Car Masters offers direct and affordable access to V8 Supercar audiences who, according to demographic surveys, are largely male, with a large proportion from household incomes exceeding $80,000 per annum. Discover how being a part of the championship-winning Steve Mason racing team will become an invaluable promotional tool in your company's marketing strategy. Talk to Steve about the highly visible sponsorship possibilities. And go racing with Mason.